we have done previously on this Palm Sunday Mass, our high school youth group will enact this Passion narrative.
A proclamation of the Passion of Jesus according to Matthew. What a week for Jesus it was to be. Today is the day the people of Jerusalem shouted, Jesus, the great prophet and Messiah, the long-awaited King of the Jews, was coming to the city. He would spend only 1 week there, his last week on earth. The people wanted to give Jesus a parade. They ripped branches off the palm trees and ran out to the city gates to see Jesus. The chief priests and elders didn't like all of the people paying so much attention to this Jesus. But the people didn't listen to them. They only rang out saying, Hosanna to the Son of David! Blessed is he who comes in the name of the Lord. Hosanna the highest. Jesus wasn't in the city long before the chief priests and elders knew they had to find a way to get rid of him. You see, they were in charge of the church in Jerusalem, and the people were looking at Jesus as the new king of their church. They felt Jesus was after their job, so they planned to take him to court by getting one of their friends to tell lies about him. The lies were spread throughout the city. They told the people that Jesus was a criminal and that he broke their laws. The chief priests and elders brought Jesus before Pilate. Pilate was the judge of the whole land of Jerusalem. Many people came and told lies about Jesus. They told people that many people came and told lies about Jesus, but Jesus didn't answer them. Jesus knew he was innocent. Pilate asked Jesus, "Don't you hear what they are saying about you?" Jesus remained silent. Pilate continued, "Are you the king of the Jews?" Jesus looked at Pilate and said, "As you say." Pilate knew that Jesus wasn't guilty. Pilate figured that the priests and elders were jealous of Jesus and wanted to teach him a lesson. They probably wanted him to leave the city, he thought. He remembered that it was festival week. They had this old custom that allowed the judge to free one prisoner if the people approved it. Pilate thought, "I'll grab the worst prisoner in jail and let them choose between him and Jesus. Surely they will take Jesus." Pilate called for Barabbas, a murderer, to be brought before the crowd. "Because it is festival week," Pilate said to the crowd, "I am releasing one prisoner to you. Today you have the choice. Jesus or Barabbas." want me to set free? Pilate was very surprised. He asked the crowd, then what am I to do with Jesus, the so-called King of the Jews? They were calling for Jesus to die the worst kind of death, to be crucified. Pilate thought that Jesus didn't do anything wrong for such an awful way to die. Pilate shouted back, "Why? What crime did he commit?" Pilate was afraid that the crowd would break out into a riot, so he thought for a moment. He called for a servant to bring out a bowl of water. He dipped his hands into the bowl of water and said, "All right, but I wash my hands of this whole matter. It is you, all of you sitting out there. You people are sending Jesus to the cross, not I." Pilate released Barabbas to the crowd. He had soldiers take Jesus to the jail until they had time to get his cross ready. While in jail, the soldiers ripped the clothes off Jesus. They all laughed at him and took turns whipping him. One soldier got the bright idea to dress Jesus up to look like a king. They placed an old purple robe on his shoulders and laughed. One soldier grabbed a stick and placed it in his hand as a king's golden scepter. Jesus just hung his head down. He was sad and humiliated. Then another one of the soldiers looked around for a king's crown. He saw thorn bushes nearby and pulled a few strands out. He rolled them up into a crown and stuck it on Jesus' head. He pushed it down hard until the thorns went to his skin and he began to bleed. They all laughed. They even bowed down on their knees, laughing at this funny-looking king. They said, "All hail the king, the king of the Jews." When they were tired of making a fool of Jesus, they got up. One soldier took the robe off Jesus. Another quickly grabbed the stick out of his hand and he hit him again. The soldiers put Jesus' clothes back on him and took him out of the jail. They gave him his cross to carry, all the way to the top of the hill called Golgotha. Jesus was so beaten up and tired, he couldn't believe they wanted him to carry that rugged-looking cross. To the top came the Jews. One soldier shouted as they all pointed to Golgotha. They kicked him as he started the long journey. strong man out of the crowd. His name was Simon. They forced him to carry the cross for Jesus, and Simon did it. He was too scared of all of the soldiers to say no. Besides, he felt sorry for Jesus. Simon looked into the eyes of Jesus, and then carried his cross to the top of the hill. When they reached the top of Golgotha, the soldiers laid Jesus upon the cross. Jesus couldn't believe his eyes when he saw a soldier get out long nails of the hammer. He was too tired to pull away. The soldier hammered a nail into Jesus' right hand. Then he nailed his other hand into the splintered wood of the cross. Another soldier nailed a sign to the top of the cross and laughed. They lifted the cross and dropped it into a small hole so that it would stand firm. The soldiers sat around waiting for Jesus to die. They even rolled dice for his clothes. He was left with nothing, not even his last piece of clothing. With his last ounce of energy, Jesus looked toward heaven and cried out in pain. There was a terrible windstorm when Jesus died, and the earth trembled. One soldier even said, "Clearly, this is the Son of God." Some of his friends took Jesus off the cross and carried him off to his tomb to be buried. What a week for Jesus it was to be. Today's the day, the people of Jerusalem shouted. Jesus, the great prophet, the Messiah, the long-awaited King of the Jews, was coming to the city. He would spend only 1 week there, just 1 week. But what a week it was.